The vast emptiness of space stretched around the horizon, a research vessel humming with quiet anticipation. Lieutenant Kim Jae-won sat at her station, her fingers hovering over holographic displays that flickered with intricate data streams. Her dark eyes scanned the infinite blackness, searching for something unknown. Suddenly, a strange signal pierced the ship's communication systems. Weird, geometric patterns danced across her screen, not like any transmission she had ever seen before. The ship's sensors began to pulse with an unfamiliar energy signature. Captain Park Sung-ho approached her station, his weathered hands gripping the edge of her console. "What are we looking at, Lieutenant?" Before Jae-won could respond, a massive silhouette emerged from the darkness. It was not a human design, angular, metallic, with impossible geometric shapes that seemed to shift and change even as they watched. The alien vessel moved with a grace that defied traditional understanding of spacecraft mechanics. "Incoming transmission," Jae-won announced, her voice steady despite the racing of her heart. A face appeared on the screen. Not human, but not entirely alien either. Sharp features, skin that looked like polished silver, and eyes that seemed to process information faster than any human could comprehend. The being, clearly some kind of commander, tilted its head. "Human vessel." The transmission crackled. "State your purpose in this sector." Jae-won knew first contact protocols demanded precision. One wrong word could trigger an interstellar incident. She took a deep breath and activated the standard diplomatic communication sequence. "Research Vessel Horizon," she responded. "We are conducting deep space exploration and scientific research. We mean no intrusion." The alien commander, who introduced himself as Rival, studied her with an intensity that made Jae-won feel like she was being scanned at a molecular level. His language translated with a slight mechanical undertone, revealing complex communication algorithms working in real time. "Your vessel's energy signature is unusual," Rival stated. It wasn't a question, but an observation. Captain Park stepped closer to the communication station. "We've developed some unique propulsion technologies," he explained carefully. "Experimental, quantum navigation systems." Rival's response was immediate. "Demonstrate." The entire bridge went silent. Demonstrating experimental technology to an unknown alien species was not standard procedure. But something in Rival's tone suggested this wasn't a request. It was a test. Jae-won looked at her captain, who gave her a nearly imperceptible nod. She began configuring the ship's quantum drive, her fingers moving with practiced precision. The horizon's external lights began to pulse, creating complex geometric patterns that mirrored the alien vessel's own strange design. For several tense moments, nothing happened. Then, unexpectedly, the alien vessel's similar lights began to synchronize with the horizon's display. A type of communication was happening, not through words, but through pure technological language. Rival's image flickered, showing what might have been surprise, or perhaps excitement. "Interesting," he said simply. The next few minutes became a silent dance of technological communication. Energy signatures exchanged, complex mathematical patterns shared, potential threat assessments conducted in milliseconds. Jae-won realized they were being evaluated, not just as a potential threat, but as a possible intelligent species worth further investigation. The aliens weren't just looking at their technology. They were testing humanity's capacity for innovation and adaptation. "Your species shows promise," Rival finally announced. The transmission carried a weight that suggested this was high praise from his perspective. As quickly as it had appeared, the alien vessel began to shift. Its impossible geometric shape started to bend and twist, preparing to vanish back into the darkness of space. But something had changed. First contact had been made, and neither humans nor the alien species would be the same after this moment. Jae-won watched the vessel disappear, knowing that somewhere in the vast darkness of space an entirely new chapter of human history had just begun. The days following the first encounter were tense aboard the Horizon. Lieutenant Kim Jae-won spent countless hours analyzing the previous communication with the alien species. Something wasn't adding up. Rival's messages became increasingly complex and cryptic. What seemed like simple exchanges to humans were apparently loaded with multiple layers of meaning for the alien race. Each transmission felt like solving an intricate puzzle without knowing all the rules. During a briefing, Captain Park Sung-ho spread holographic images of their previous interactions. "They're testing us," he muttered, tracing strange geometric patterns that appeared between communication bursts. Jae-won noticed a pattern. The aliens seemed to communicate through indirect suggestions rather than direct statements. When humans asked a straightforward question, the response would come back as a complex series of mathematical equations or symbolic representations. One particular transmission caught her attention. Rival sent what appeared to be a series of interconnected, geometric shapes. To an untrained eye, it might look like random design, but Jae-won recognized it as a sophisticated communication method. "It's like they're speaking in riddles," she told the ship's linguistic expert, Dr. Kim Min-seo. "Every message has multiple potential interpretations." The ship's computer struggled to translate. Traditional translation algorithms failed repeatedly. The alien language seemed to change its fundamental structure with each transmission, making consistent interpretation impossible. During one critical moment, a miscommunication nearly triggered a potential conflict. Rival's request for scientific data was interpreted by the ship's initial systems as a potential threat. Automated defense protocols began to activate, preparing the ship's shield systems. Jae-won intervened quickly, manually overriding the defensive sequence. "Wait," she called out. "This isn't an attack. It's a misunderstanding." Captain Park watched her carefully. He trusted her instincts more than any computer system. "Explain," he demanded. She pointed to subtle changes in the transmission's frequency. "They're not threatening us. They're asking for information, but in a way that's completely different from human communication." The aliens seemed to operate on a principle of indirect communication. Direct questions were considered aggressive. Suggestions and complex symbolic representations were their preferred method of exchange. For humans who valued clear and direct communication, this became an enormous challenge. Every interaction required complex interpretation. What seemed like a simple request could actually be a deeply nuanced diplomatic maneuver. Dr. Min-seo developed a new translation algorithm that incorporated quantum linguistic principles. It began to decode the alien messages with increasing accuracy. The breakthrough revealed a communication system so complex that it made human languages look primitive by comparison. "They don't just communicate," Dr. Min-seo explained during a late-night research session. "They negotiate reality through language." Each message from Rival contained multiple potential meanings. A request for scientific data could simultaneously be a diplomatic test, a cultural exchange, and a subtle threat, all depending on how it was interpreted. Jae-won realized that successful communication would require more than translation. It would need a complete reimagining of how information could be shared between two fundamentally different species. The stakes were high. One wrong interpretation could lead to interstellar conflict. Yet the potential for understanding was equally significant. Humanity stood on the brink of its most complex first contact scenario. As the horizon continued its journey, Jae-won kept working. Each transmission was a puzzle, each message a potential bridge or barrier between two species separated by unimaginable differences. Rival watched. The humans responded, and between them a delicate dance of communication continued, full of misunderstandings, potential, and the hope of mutual understanding. The universe waited, watching this intricate exchange that would potentially reshape humanity's understanding of communication, intelligence, and the possibility of connection beyond their own known world. The deep space scanner first detected the anomaly as a faint disturbance. Lieutenant Kim Jae-won noticed a strange energy signature that didn't match any known cosmic phenomenon. Something was moving towards both human and alien territories, something dangerous. Captain Park gathered the team quickly. The readings showed a massive energy wave that could potentially destroy entire star systems. Rival's communication burst through their systems unexpectedly. For the first time, there was no complexity in his message. Pure urgency translated clearly. Mutual destruction approaches. The cosmic threat appeared as a swirling mass of dark energy, consuming entire star clusters. Astronomical calculations showed it would reach populated zones within weeks. Neither humans nor the alien civilization had encountered anything like this before. Jaewon's mind raced. She understood that survival would require something unprecedented, true collaboration between two completely different species. The threat didn't care about their differences. It would destroy everything equally. Dr. Kim Min-seo began running complex simulations. Each mathematical model showed the same horrifying result. Total destruction was inevitable unless they found a unique solution. Traditional scientific approaches would fail. The alien vessel approached the horizon, its impossible geometric shape shifting with what seemed like nervous energy. Rival's transmission showed something humans had never seen before: genuine concern from an alien species. "Our technologies are insufficient," Rival communicated. The admission was remarkable, an advanced alien race admitting technological limitation. Captain Park and Jaewon worked alongside alien scientists. Language barriers disappeared. Survival became their only priority. They shared data, compared research, and began developing a radical approach to combat the cosmic threat. The energy wave moved closer. Planetary defense systems began preparing for potential evacuation. Millions of lives hung in the balance. Humans and aliens worked side by side, their previous communication challenges forgotten. Jaewon discovered something extraordinary. The cosmic threat responded to specific quantum frequencies, a discovery that came from combining human intuition with alien technological precision. It wasn't just science anymore. It was a dance of survival. Rival watched her work, his alien eyes showing something close to respect. Humans were proving themselves not through military might, but through creative problem-solving and adaptability. The ship's systems began preparing an experimental defense mechanism. It combined technologies from both species, something never attempted before. Each calculation was a risk. Each decision could mean survival or total destruction. As the energy wave approached, tension filled every corner of the horizon. Scientists from two different species worked together, their hands moving across holographic displays, their minds connected by a single purpose: survival. Captain Park's voice remained calm. "We have one chance," he told the mixed team of humans and aliens. "One moment to prove that cooperation matters more than our differences." The cosmic threat was now visible, a massive dark cloud consuming everything in its path. Stars disappeared. Entire solar systems became nothing more than distant memories. Jaewon's hands moved with precision. She integrated the final sequence, a combination of human creativity and alien technological understanding. The experimental defense system hummed to life. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, unexpectedly, the energy wave began to slow. The dark mass started to break apart, its destructive power gradually diminishing. Rival's transmission came through, carrying what might have been the first hint of emotion they had ever detected. "Impressive," he said simply. They had done the impossible. Two species previously struggling to understand each other had just saved millions of lives. The cosmic threat was neutralized, not by force, but by understanding. As silence returned to the ship, Jaewon realized everything had changed. Humanity had proven something important, that survival depends not on individual strength, but on the ability to collaborate, adapt, and understand. The laboratory aboard the horizon buzzed with nervous energy. Lieutenant Kim Jae-won stood before a complex holographic display, her fingers tracing intricate patterns of data from their recent cosmic encounter. Something remarkable was taking shape. Rival watched from a specially designed alien interface, his silver-like skin reflecting the soft blue light of the research station. The humans had no idea how close they were to a breakthrough that would change everything. Dr. Kim Min-seo approached with a stack of data tablets. "Look at these quantum resonance patterns," she whispered to Jae-won. The numbers didn't just represent data. They told a story of potential beyond current scientific understanding. The cosmic threat they had recently neutralized had left behind strange energy signatures. Most scientists would have overlooked the subtle variations, but Jae-won saw something different, a hidden language within the mathematical patterns. Captain Park watched from a distance, his experienced eyes noting the intense concentration of his team. Something significant was happening, and he could feel it in the ship's very atmosphere. Jae-won's breakthrough came suddenly. She realized the cosmic threat wasn't just a random energy wave. It was a form of intelligent communication. The destruction was actually a complex message, encrypted in quantum frequencies that no single species could understand alone. "It's not a weapon," she announced to the stunned research team. "It's a test." Rival's communication system lit up. For the first time, something close to excitement entered his typically mechanical voice. The aliens had been waiting for someone to decode this message for generations. The breakthrough required combining human intuition with alien technological precision. Each species brought something unique to the table. Humans provided creative problem-solving. The aliens offered advanced technological understanding. Complex equations began to dance across the holographic displays. Mathematical patterns that once seemed random now revealed an intricate communication network spanning multiple dimensions. It was a language beyond traditional scientific understanding. Dr. Mincio worked furiously, her fingers flying across quantum computing interfaces. "We're not just solving a scientific puzzle," she said. "We're learning how intelligence can exist in forms we never imagined." Rival moved closer to the human research team. His previous rigid communication style had transformed. He was now genuinely curious, genuinely interested in collaboration. The breakthrough moment came unexpectedly. A sudden alignment of human creativity and alien technological precision created a new understanding of cosmic communication. They weren't just decoding a message, they were learning an entirely new way of perceiving reality. Captain Park understood the significance. This was more than a scientific discovery. This was proof of humanity's potential in the broader cosmic context. They had proven themselves not through military might, but through intelligence and adaptability. Jae-won's hands moved with a combination of mathematical precision and intuitive creativity. She was creating something entirely new, a communication bridge between species that had seemed incomprehensible just weeks earlier. The research team worked in complete sync. Humans and aliens moved together, their previous communication barriers falling away. They were no longer separate species. They were partners in the most significant scientific discovery in human history. Rival's transmission carried a tone that seemed close to respect. "Humans are unexpected," he communicated. For an alien, species known for their rigid technological approach, this was high praise. As the final pieces of the puzzle came together, the laboratory fell silent. They had done more than solve a scientific mystery. They had opened a door to understanding that would change everything humans knew about intelligence, communication, and their place in the universe. The holographic displays showed a complex network of interconnected energy patterns. What once looked like random data now revealed a sophisticated communication system that spanned multiple dimensions. Jae-won looked at her team, human and alien researchers united by curiosity and the desire to understand. They had proven that true intelligence knows no species boundaries. The breakthrough moment was more than a scientific discovery. It was a promise of what could be achieved when different species choose understanding over conflict. The diplomatic chamber aboard the joint research vessel felt different. Lieutenant Kim Jae-won stood at the center, representing humanity in a moment that would reshape galactic understanding. Rival sat opposite her, his silver-like skin reflecting the soft light of distant stars. Months of collaboration had transformed their relationship. What began as a tense first contact had evolved into something unprecedented. Humans and aliens were no longer strangers. They were partners. Captain Park watched from the side, his weathered hands clasped behind his back. He had seen many negotiations in his career, But nothing like this. The room hummed with potential, with the promise of something entirely new. Rival's communication system activated. Humanity has proven itself, he stated. The words carried weight. Coming from a species known for its technological superiority, this was more than a compliment. It was recognition. The alliance wasn't just about scientific collaboration. It represented a fundamental shift in how intelligent species could interact. Humans had shown something unique, an ability to adapt, to understand, to see beyond traditional limitations. Dr. Kim Min-seo presented the final documentation of their joint research. Quantum communication techniques, developed through their unexpected partnership, would revolutionize interstellar communication. What once seemed impossible was now a reality. Jae-won understood the significance of this moment. They weren't just signing a diplomatic agreement. They were creating a blueprint for future interspecies cooperation. Every word, every gesture carried the weight of potential future encounters. The alien representatives brought complex technological blueprints. Humanity offered something equally valuable: creative problem-solving and adaptability. Each species recognized the unique strengths of the other. "We are stronger together," Jae-won said simply. The translation systems worked perfectly, capturing the nuance of her statement across species barriers. Rival's response was unexpected. The alien leader displayed what could only be described as a smile, a gesture of communication that bridged their biological differences. "Humanity surprises us," he communicated. The diplomatic documents represented more than a treaty. They were a promise of shared exploration, shared understanding. Technological exchanges would begin immediately. Scientific research would be conducted jointly. The boundaries between species were dissolving. Captain Park stepped forward. His presence carried the weight of human exploration, decades of reaching into the unknown, of pushing beyond established boundaries. "We extend our hand in friendship," he stated. The room fell silent. Humans and aliens looked at each other, not as separate species but as potential partners in the greatest adventure of discovery. Jae-won thought about the journey. From a tense first communication to a cosmic threat that nearly destroyed everything, to this moment of unprecedented collaboration. They had traveled impossible distances, not just through space but through understanding. The alien delegation presented gifts, advanced technological designs that would revolutionize human scientific understanding. In return, humanity offered something equally precious: cultural insights, creative approaches to problem-solving, a unique way of perceiving the universe. Dr. Min-seo explained their joint research findings. The cosmic communication they had decoded was just the beginning. They had discovered communication methods that transcended traditional scientific understanding. Rival's final communication carried a tone of genuine respect. "Humanity is no longer an unknown," he stated. "You are now partners in galactic exploration." The diplomatic session concluded, Jae-won looked out at the stars. Everything had changed. Humanity had proven itself not through military might, but through intelligence, creativity, and the ability to understand. The alliance was more than a diplomatic agreement. It was a promise of what could be achieved when different species choose understanding over conflict. Humanity had taken its first real step into a broader, more complex universe. Outside the diplomatic chamber, the stars seemed to shine a little brighter. A new chapter of exploration had begun, one where the boundaries between species became less important than the shared desire to understand, to explore, to grow.